I'm out here helping the front load guys today. They're a little short-staffed over there, so seeing as I'm one of the guys that's cross-trained in front load, I used to do front load in Minnesota for about 15 years, so 15 years, so pretty familiar with doing front load. I help these guys out maybe every, I don't know, couple of months, maybe once a month kind of thing. I'm just doing a cardboard route. It's a pretty easy route. I don't mind doing the cardboard routes. Cardboard routes, sometimes I don't get out here very often, so sometimes I forget which side. I know where most of the stops are, sometimes I forget which side of the enclosure they're in. Let's slide down. Biggest problem with cardboard is when you start to get full. Stuff doesn't pack very well, so it likes to pop out, and it just becomes a pain in the butt to pack sometimes when you start getting really full. So that's really the only issue of doing front load or cardboard route is just it gets very hard to pack sometimes when you start getting full. But these cardboard routes aren't very big, so it's just a couple of loads. The hardest part about doing front load, realistically, is just knowing where all the cans are. It's if you're doing a route that you don't really know, it's yeah, you could have the address, but in some places you got to come into the parking lot different ways. So it's not. Some of them aren't just kind of out in the open. You gotta, if you come into the parking lot the wrong way and the can's facing the other way, now you gotta try and find a place to turn around. And the biggest thing is just figuring out where the cans are and which way they're facing. That's the biggest hurdle that new drivers always seem to face is where the can is. And yeah, it's easy to find the address, but you're not always sure where the can is. It could be behind a gate. Some of these places, the address might be right, but the can sits in a different lot for some reason. It's the only place that they could put it, or whatever. If you don't know that, then you'd be driving around aimlessly trying to find a can, sitting at the right address, but there's no can. But little do you know that it's in the next slot over. So it makes it challenging. Once you figure out the controls, it makes it's not that difficult to do. Sorry. Once you figure out the controls, then it's a little bit weird when the first time you bring a container over the top of your head like that. A little nerve-wracking. This next stop is it's real tight on the right side, so you gotta really watch the arm and watch it. You're almost right up next to the building, the side of the building. It can get rather tricky. So I'll kind of show you a little bit of a trick that you can do. You put the fork about halfway into the container, and then you kind of tilt it back so it kind of lifts, hold the container on. Then you can back up, give yourself some more room on the right side, and then you can kind of bring it up, slide the container onto your forks, onto your bumpers up here, and then you can dump it. And then when you put it back, just put it on the ground, go about halfway, and then you can drop it and back out. As you can see, it's pressed up right against in between that staircase and the wall. So you gotta remember that your mirror sticks out about almost a foot outside of the trucks. So what you got to do is you got to come down, really watch that side. It gets closer and closer the closer you get to the can. So if I were to go all the way in, my mirror would absolutely hit. I'm only going to go about halfway. I'm going to tilt it back. Just bring it out. Give myself a little bit of room. Drop it down. In there. Okay. Make it just slide it onto there. And I know I've been here before many times, so I know when I'm dumping, it's not going to hit the wall or anything like that. So, and then when I want to go put it back, kind of do the same thing, but just in reverse order, right? So I'm just going to go about this far back, fill the can, it's on there. Watch the staircase. Everybody put it pretty close to the staircase. See how close that is to my mirror? That's why they had it so close to the staircase. I'm just gonna drop it there. Watch when you're backing out. Forks up. Boom up. Go. Simple as that. For a new guy, that's probably going to seem rather difficult. It's going to seem super scary because there's so much objects and things. More times you do something, it's just the better you get at it. It's just so long that there's not a lot of cans that trip me out anymore. Okay, where did they move the can to? Used to be right here. Around to the back. It used to be right there. It's been a couple months since I've been at this place. Yeah, this is the hard part. You don't. Some of these. Oh, there. See, gotta have an eagle eye. You see it? Straight ahead. Sometimes places like these, they'll move the can around a lot. They need to put a bunch of roofing stuff and where the can was, and now they moved it on you. So now you got to try and search and find. Kind of some of these type of places, it can be kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, always the best thing that you can do. One big thing that you can do when you're coming up to a stop, coming up to the can. Now, like here, it's got this little bit of a overhang or whatever. So I'm just gonna back up just a little bit because that can does stick out a few feet past my boom, so I don't want to catch something on there or anything. So I just like to give myself a little bit of room. It's not doesn't take that much longer just to be on the safer side. Right back. The biggest thing that you can do is if you're first starting into this business or first starting in, when you're coming around the can, just give a quick look. Take a look up ahead. Make sure there's no power lines or overhangs or anything like that up there, and just that way you know for sure that it's fine when you go to dump it. Some places might be sitting underneath a little overhang and you're not used to it, or they moved it. Maybe they moved into a place you're not really normally picking up at, and they decided to put it under an overhang, and you're not really looking out for it. You're just looking at the can. Boom! Now you're taking out an overhang, and now you got an accident, and All the supervisors got to get involved and all that. So nobody wants that. So the biggest thing that I always do is just as soon as I can coming up to a can, I always just double check the area just to make sure that there's nothing in the way. Body shops can be a pain in the butt sometimes. They like to throw cardboard. Sometimes it'll get really like they'll throw big giant sheets of cardboard on the side, and it gets filled up. It just becomes a pain. Generally, the trash is worse because they'll put bumpers and stuff like that in there, and it becomes a absolute pain to try and get out of there. You got to shake it a million times just for everything to fall out of there. Plus, a lot of times these places where they put the cans and all the way in the back, which is fine. But if you've ever been to a body shop or a car dealership, there's cars everywhere, right? And trying to maneuver a truck like this through some of these places can be just terrible sometimes. This one's not that bad. When you're coming out of here, you definitely have to. A lot of times you can go out that way, but you can't. So you have to back down through this like lane of cars. So you really have to take it easy. Really watch your mirrors. It's the hardest part about front load is just getting to a container and getting out of it. It's be pretty tough sometimes. Real quick, if you are enjoying this video, getting value from it, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. And if you want more awesome garbage truck content, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a thing. Thank you truly for the support. Now back to it. This one can get a little tricky. Can't really. I'm gonna try and open up the gate a little bit more if I can. These fans kind of in the way of the gate. There we go. This one harder. And here again, you got the gate, you got the tree, you got the wall. There's a lot of obstacles here. So what I like to do with this can is go about halfway in again, tilt it back, just enough to pick it up, and I back up. So I also got I got a pickup truck that's kind of right behind me over here. So set that down. Get into it. Slide it on. I'll kind of do the same thing I did. I back up out of it about halfway. Just tilt the forks back. That way it picks the can up. Then I can go in. Watch the wall. Put it far enough in there to where you're not sticking out so far, but you don't want to hit that wall back there. It'll collapse that wall in a second. Need to trim that. That's that. Back kind of weave your way back. On to the next one. Now, don't be that guy that just zooms around this guy. He's trying to back in. I see it all the time. It's just with semi trucks, their job is tough enough when they're trying to back into an area. Now this guy's giving me the okay to go by. So just have a little patience and just give the guys some space. It's not easy trying to back into docks where it's tight like that, so just give him some space and let him do his thing. And if he's done, you can do your thing. First thing I do, the second I get done dumping a can, I look in my camera just to make sure that nothing's snuck in behind me or anything like that. Just look in my camera. The second I get done, I start backing up. I just, right before I start backing up, just look at my camera just to make sure nothing's snuck in there and, you know, okay to back out. Sometimes you just never know. It's happened to me before where a car comes in behind you or somebody's walking behind you. You just never know. This stop can get a little bit, you have to kind of pull in and then kind of back up behind. So, this guy, wait here. You got to kind of come in like this. Your mirrors, camera, make sure there's nothing back there. And I gotta just back down this little line. Cars here. See, this is your kind of a typical body shop type place for just huge sheets of cardboard, and it can get just get here. Good. And sometimes you just have to pick up and hope everything goes. Sometimes we really want to drive it up there, get it up there fast, and then there's times where you want to just kind of some of that cardboard has been stuck in there, so you want to kind of bring it back, pack it, get it to break loose. And this is where people run into problems when they'll lose a can up in the hopper, because if you start shaking it too much, it'll shake itself right off the end of your forks. And now it's a complete mess. Now you got a can stuck up in your hopper, you gotta get a boom truck with some sort of crane or forklift or something to get it out of there. And yeah, then it becomes a mess. So biggest thing is just to not shake it hard. You give it a couple of whacks, and that should be about all you'll need. This can here, what you want to do is kind of swing your truck wide. You might have to kind of wiggle yourself back and forth a couple of times. Just always look at your mirrors, utilize your camera. Last thing you want to do is back into something because you're not utilizing the tools that you have, to be safe out here. Kind of just as you're driving past the can, just utilize look at the area, look at any obstructions you're gonna have to deal with or anything like that, and it'll be fine. One of the last stops that I picked up didn't have didn't really have much cardboard in there, so it's kind of more paper than cardboard. So, but it's all recycling, so it's fine. It's another good example of how a tight spot can be. This can fits down here. You really have to, you don't want to come directly underneath this tree because it'll hit. So you kind of got to go around it and then come around and then watch the hole. Make sure there's no traffic coming across. Then you can kind of sneak in. Sometimes, like, whatever that can. Wow. Like that can, I really wanted to drive it up there. If I went slow, a bunch of stuff would have fallen out onto the top of my truck. That's no good. This is another body shop that gets real tight. Sometimes they'll have cars that they're working on and you gotta drive past them. This one's got an awning that you get real close to. So if you're not careful. And you know what? Worst case scenario, you're not sure about how close you are. Just use the goal method. Get out and look. Just like here, you got to get real close to this wall. You got to see that awning. Clearly, it's been hit a few times. You got to really kind of cut it over. And can't really see that awning, right? You can see it a little bit in the mirror up in the top there. I know I'm good. Wing it. Look, you can see the awning. Can't really probably see it on my camera, but I can see it in my mirror. I got about like that. I didn't really want to go any much further, so you can just kind of pick it up, slide it, tilt it back. You can just slide it onto you. Works the rest of the way. Set it down. This one's got wheels. You want to set it down real gently. I mean, it's good practice not to smash cans on the ground anyways, but especially ones that have wheels on it. It'll break those wheels in a second. And that's kind of how you tackle it doesn't seem that bad when you're looking at it here, but you really got to swing it wide and really watch out for that awning there. And then when you're backing up, you got to remember that there is a gate. So if you're coming in, you're not really paying attention to your mirrors. Boom, now you just took out half their gate. So like this place, there's no other way to get out of here except to back out. So now I can look. Road is clear that way. Road is clear that way. Just back up here. Hazards on. No. Back straight up into this other parking lot here. So I'm not backing out kind of that way. Well, the schools are a whole different animal because, man, if you get here at the wrong time, whoa, you're in for a nightmare because there'll be so many people drop their kids off at school nowadays. So it's these drop-off lines and pickup lines can get absolutely insane. You got kids everywhere, parents driving like maniacs everywhere, and it's just you get to a school at the wrong time and you're in for a real treat because it can be a complete cluster. Try to kind of get to your schools either early or after school started. Yeah, like this is a another school. It's a perfect time to get here. It's a high school, so everybody's in class right now. Just smooth sailing to the can. And you're here during drop off or pickups. Oh, man, it can get frustrating. No. Yeah. Remember when I first got on this route that had these cans on it for the trash route I was doing? There was a can that there was like 4 total trash cans here, and I could only find 3. I was like, what is that? Where is this mysterious 4th can? Well, it's down. Look, you gotta drive down this little sidewalk slash road, and it's all the way in the back there. It's like their farming camp or something. It's like a farming class or something, or gardening class or something. Way in the back. You gotta way all the way down back there. So those are things that you don't know until you've done it once. But once you've done it once, you'll probably never forget that. You'll always remember that kind of thing. The thing about it, if you're not sure where a can is, generally it's going to be in the back of a building somewhere. The question is, which way do you come in from the building or come into the parking lot? That's always the biggest thing. Is you kind of can guess that it's going to be in the back somewhere, but where and which way it's facing is a whole nother problem. So I gotta watch out, make sure my boom doesn't hit that other can there. This one I want to try and keep as level as I can, all the way up, and then just really gas it up there. Spillage, good. Shake it a couple of times. That's all you really need. And if you can see in my camera here, let's put this can down. Behind me. Good. What I'm gonna do is I got a full hopper, if you can see that. I'm just gonna kind of pull over to the side. Still get around me if they need to. I'm just gonna pack this in. That way I'm not driving and trying to pack, kind of going back and forth with the packer while I'm driving. It just makes it easier just to pull over, get it all packed in there. When you're packing, stuff will kind of come up, and now you got if you're going 25, 20, 25 miles an hour, stuff can start blowing out of there. You're raining people down with cardboard behind you and on the side of you. So you got a big full packer like that or full hopper, just pack it in. This is another stop where really don't like dealerships. Their cans can be anywhere. You gotta really either know where they're at, or you can be driving around the lot and you'll never find it. Or you could be driving around forever until you do find it. And again, it's just one of these places where they got a lot of stuff around. They got a lot of cars parked kind of everywhere. It's kind of tucked back in this corner back here by the service center. This one gets a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, that trash is kind of in my way. I'm just gonna take my fork and just kind of push it over a little bit. Coming back the other way, I push that one. Push out of the way a little bit there. Just kind of come in a little halfway again. Just kind of pick it up. Back up a little bit. There's a bunch of stuff on the right side of me there. Straight the can out. Keep it as level as you can. Gas. Crap on it. Good. No spillage. It's a win in my book for this can. You remember when you're bringing the can down, you moved a little bit, and you're gonna hit your boom with that pocket on the other can. So you gotta always be cautious like that. You see how that guy just kind of comes in behind me like that? Right, it's all you gotta always be looking at your camera, mirrors, everything. Especially at dealerships, these guys are on a mission to get where they're going. They don't care who's in your way. This thing's pretty full, so I'm just kind of got all these speed bumps here. Go slow, back in. By the time I get out to the main road, it should be pretty much packed in. Cardboard, you gotta kind of go in a little bit, bring the packer back, go in again, bring the packer back, and let's do it sometimes 4 or 5 times just to get everything to get in there. That's why it's the biggest hassle of cardboard is just getting it to pack. Start getting 50, 60, 50 cans in there, it really becomes an issue of trying to get it packed in there. A lot of times it'll pack in and it just kind of comes right back out at you. Unless it's wet cardboard, that stuff packs like a dream. But I live in Arizona, so it rains like 2 days a year. So generally we're dealing with fried cardboard. Take my time here down this little side street. Get that back in all the way. It's just like this. We can always shut the top door. Most front-load trucks have the top door. Shit. You're getting right here, something. You don't want stuff going out. You just shut the bottom door. You should be good there. Get up to the stop sign, stow my arm, and be heading on to the way to the dump. So that'll do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this front load video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you in the next one.